Hey, we got a connection.
Yeah.
What have you learned in your travels this last week that might be of interest?
I recently came upon a photo that I saw, and I sent you a copy of it about a little dot in the middle of Kamala Harris's checkbox. So if nobody voted for anybody, Kamala would get the vote. If somebody voted for Trump, it invalidates it. Nobody gets the vote. Just saying. So if those machines are clever enough to pick up that dot as a mark, then either she gets the vote, or if somebody voted for Trump, nobody gets that vote. So they voted, but it doesn't count. That's a concern to me.
Yeah,
So I'd like to know where that is. But
that dot is small enough so I didn't catch it until you pointed it out.
yeah, interesting. I don't know if it's a fake setup or I have no idea yet.
No, it's too small and too perfect. It was put there intentionally. It's perfectly centered at the bottom of that
Yeah,
box.
absolutely. Just enough where the scanner would go by just when it goes above that thing into the space, bam, it'll pick something up, and it'll keep going up and find nothing at Trump. Or if it found Trump, it'll say, oh, you can't vote for twice, and since you didn't cross it out manually and write in the one that you had wanted, uh, it crosses the vote out. It cancels it. So that's deeply concerning at this point because
And
we have.
where was that ballot from?
I don't know. I
You
don't know.
saw it on the internet?
Someone sent it to me,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, they found it and just say, hey, I think this is interesting. What do you think? And I guess they're trying to look to find too as well. So it's certainly something to be concerned with. And, it definitely has my attention to that point. And I think it's concerning, so we need to be vigilant on that. All the Currently, all the in-person and mail-in ballots have been counted for the most part already. And in the battleground states, you have Arizona Republicans 852,561 to Democrats 669, 689. However, you have the independents 507,477, massive increase to independents. And if you look at records, more Democrats has left the party and went independent than Republicans left and went independent. After George Bush on his second term, a great many Republicans went independent or non-party affiliation because they're just upset at all the rhinos that had been infecting the party and getting in there. Georgia, Republicans 1,921,888 to Democrats 1,801,770, independents 280,275. So Republicans are leading in Georgia. With the independents, that could definitely put them ahead. And then, of course, Tuesday, when Tuesday's vote comes out, even more will come out because we know that in the first election, Trump just let the cards and the dice fall where they were, and he won. The second time, he told people to show up on Tuesday, no mail-in ballots, and don't vote early. Big mistake. This time he switched it. Get out there and vote. Your state opens up, get to the polls. And it worked. And it has it has an effect on the Democrats as much that they see the lead and they see the possibilities, especially with the independents and with the potential what's going to happen on Tuesday, tomorrow. Then you have the problem that Kamala has. Trump is leading the black vote by 8 points.
Whoa.
He's 50, she's at 42%. That's a huge problem for her.
Are you talking about just Georgia
No, overall.
overall? Well, before
Overall.
we leave Georgia, there's another very important thing that happened today. Or yeah, today or yesterday. The Georgia Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Republicans so that any ballots, you can't extend the ballot bringing in time. It's right where the law says it's going to be, and any that come in after that time, I forget what the time is. That's why I'm stuttering.
8 p.m.
Don't count.
Right.
And
Right.
that will set a huge precedent across the country too. This wasn't just the federal court. This was the state Supreme Court.
Right.
And then they all gathered for a very nice picture, all the justices, and they all seemed to be very happy.
Right on. Finally, some true justice. Where were they in 2020? Going back, we have Michigan. Currently, Democrat 1,279,920, Republicans 1,196,447, Independents 306,067. So Michigan is certainly in play as a toss-up, but Trump has been getting up there. And if they show up like they did in the last 2 elections, and I believe that they're going to show up even more, Trump will take Michigan. We have Nevada, 423,493 Republican, Democrats 369,199, Independents 293,188. So that's a good sign right there.
Aren't those independents going to break majority-wise towards Trump?
Correct. Correct. And the majority of them were fed up with the Democratic Party, and they don't want to join Republicans, but they're going to vote independent to show their solidarity. Pennsylvania, Democrats 962,474, Republicans 550,621, Independents 168,855. So the Pennsylvania voters, especially Republicans, have always been known to show up on Tuesday. So those records have always, boom, just elevated it.
There was just a very nice discussion on Newsmax about the Pennsylvania situation with Rick Santorum. And he says that the black vote is not turning out for the Democrats, just not turning out.
Correct.
They're not enthusiastic, so they just aren't going to show. And the percentage for Trump, of course, is going up. So,
right.
And as Santorum says, if she doesn't win Pennsylvania, it's over.
Right. Well, Trump only needs to, I don't know if he needs Nevada, but he definitely needs Arizona and Georgia. And if he has that and takes one of the blue wall states, just one, he wins it. Wisconsin, Republicans, 334,682. Democrats, 455,167. Wait for it. Independents, 548,878. Broke a record as the majority voters in Wisconsin in the early vote.
Right.
So that's a good set right there that could change everything.
Wisconsin could be a blowout for Trump. It might not even be close.
Right. Right. So that's good news. So tomorrow is going to be the day. What concerns me also is this, and Tom Fitton came out, and I'm repeating what he said. He said, if Trump or Kamala do not have results after the close of the election and no answer can be provided, Trump will lose. Because they'll find ballots. And that's what they've done before, as we know. And so that concerns me. But it brings me to what Steve Bannon said when he got out of prison the first day. He said Trump missed an opportunity in 2020 that when the lines were curving and Trump was here and he was going over, as soon as it got right here, Trump should have just came out and declared victory. But he just wanted to wait and see what happens. So he says that I pray to God that Trump will do it this time, because as soon as that thing curves and his line is above Kamala's, claim it. Claim that state, or claim the presidency if all of them come together at that time to prevent them from stopping or delaying or whatever. Claim it. So now that puts the mainstream media on defense if they try to do something and say, no, Trump was wrong, whatever. But if Trump came out and said, we won, and his base is done, and the rest of the world gets that news, which they will, it's just going to set stuff on fire. And it's going to be very difficult for them to try to backtrack all that and convince America and convince the world that, no, he didn't win. And you're going to have a problem. Then the courts will have to get into it, and then the Supremes will have to get into it.
Especially if he's able to justify doing it on East Coast time.
Right.
So that it really slams the West.
Correct. And then you have the Supreme Court justices. So I broke them down of who's in charge of which states, the 7 swing states. So Georgia belongs to Justice Thomas. Pennsylvania belongs to Justice Alito. North Carolina belongs to Chief Justice Roberts. Michigan belongs to Kavanaugh. Wisconsin belongs to Amy Coney Barrett. But Nevada and Arizona belongs to Kagan.
And they're going to lose that anyway.
Let's hope. But it would be interesting. I believe if things are catching on fire and there's lawfare and there's everything with that going on, that you're going to have the justices, they're going to have to intervene and play a role. Okay, circuit court, you're going to have to do this. They're just like they did it with Al Gore and George Bush in Florida in 2000. They had to step in to allow it to play out all the way to the Florida Supreme Court, which was liberal at that time. And of course, it had to take a turn. And then eventually when the Secretary of State then, which was a Republican, of course, George's brother, Jeb, was governor, the first opportunity they took to certify that, she signed it, stamped it, it was right there, bam, it got put out so fast. And he won. And they were still complaining, trying to do it. But at that point, Supreme Court didn't want to get involved. So they handled it on their own. But there was referees for that. And because all the lawfare that they were doing and the bias that was going on, they weren't letting it happen. But this is an election that's either going to save our country and the world, or it's going to be an election that is going to pivot in a direction that is not coming back.
Right.
And people just don't know how serious that is.
Well, Elon Musk said today that if we lose, we will probably not have a real election again.
Correct. It'll be a selection all the way. And they're already saying that the Republicans are going to lose the House and everything. I mean, you have your sources, I have my sources, and we hear things, what's going on, the possibilities, and it's very real. Will it happen? Don't know. because if it's so close, what we call too big to rig, does anybody want to put their neck on the line for a what if moment and get caught? You're going to have people having second choices about doing stuff, and you got to pay them off so well and protect them and send them out the country with a different passport or something to have them get away. And they don't want to do that. They want to stay home and watch football on weekends on their own new big screen TV that you bought them. So I don't see it. The possibility is there, but at this point, with the projected numbers and because of what Trump's strategy was and the ultimate team of campaign warriors and network of people behind him, he was an unstoppable machine. They just didn't see it yet. And then it creeped up 30 days ago, and they're realizing, uh-oh. And then they got desperate and they start making mistakes because Kamala, she has 4 original members that stuck with her out of everybody from day one through the campaign and all that. Just 4. Everybody left. They go, I can't work with her. She's impossible to work with. She's just a diva that is a demon. Demon diva Kamala, whatever you want to call her, but she can't keep people to work for her. So that's a weakness. And this weakness has spelled out over the last week here, as we know, we have the President Biden calling Republicans and Trump supporters garbage. And then you have Mark Cuban calling women not intelligent and just really putting the hammer down on women, especially voters that are going to be voting for Trump and those that have worked around Trump. That on both sides, that sent a message because the feelings got hurt. Doesn't matter what party you're with. There's a lot of women that probably would have been voting for Kamala. They just might not vote this time around or just leave her name out. But that was bad. And now we got the governor of New York who killed a squirrel and a raccoon with 10 armed officers to storm a nonprofit owner's home to euthanize it, and then basically calls Republicans trash. Unbelievable, the desperation. So that's telling me that there's things that are falling apart, that people are backing out of the chain that needs to work because you got certain links that aren't working. Who's going to pick it up?
That's right. That's what I said all along.
Yeah.
It takes a big team to organize a big cheat.
Yes.
People start getting scared. They back out, or they aren't on fire for it.
Yeah. So tomorrow will tell, Bill, how the country is. And if Trump comes out and says, I won, you're going to see a big sigh of relief. The rest of the world will have a relief too as well. Those other countries that are hoping and praying that he wins. And try and turn that back. Really try to turn it back. You try to turn that tide back that we pushed through and we won it, and then the powers to be try to take it back. It's going to be impossible, really impossible. I do believe that. And so that's the smart first thing that Steve Bannon said that nobody has mentioned. That was highly intellectual for him to come up with that and bring that to the attention of Trump. And so I certainly hope that Trump does it at the first opportunity. We won Michigan. We won Georgia. We're on our way to winning Arizona now. So just push that momentum because, as the time is going by, you'll have people not wanting to go to the polls. And hopefully the Republicans still keep pushing. He's got to send the message still that, hey, Republicans, just because I'm saying this, don't stop. Or he just might not say anything at all until it's time. But he needs to come out and claim it. And as soon as he hits 270 and above, bam, nail it. Without the full vote yet being counted, because at that point, when you cross that curve, no matter what you count afterwards, you can't take that spike up suddenly that Joe Biden did in those 3 states. It's impossible mathematically. It just doesn't add up.
Right.
You know, so many tens of thousands of votes found in a closet a janitor put there. Oh, really? Who's this janitor? We don't know, but we'll see come tomorrow for sure. I'm not going to sleep this time. I don't care how tired I am. I'm going to stay awake and watch this to the very end.
I recorded that whole thing until exactly 3 a.m. And then I turned off my recorder and went to bed. And I went, oh, what a stupid thing to do.
Yeah.
Got SD cards that can load up 6 or 7 hours worth of stuff. And I could have just kept on going and gotten all that big. Oh, we have a leak in the counting room, so everybody go home for the night, unless you're a Democrat.
Correct. The chosen Democrats.
So obvious. God.
But the thing is, the cameras weren't turned off. Gee, under the table, that was hidden. Here are all these extra votes.
Right. And still they don't call that proof.
And then the 2 ladies, I think it's the mother and daughter, taking these ballots, putting them in the machine, it's counting them, and they come out of this end, they take them, put them in again, take them, put them in again, all through the night.
No, they were just trying to see if they could turn sheets of paper into waffles so they could eat it.
I don't know, but
and then there's the post-election violence problem. But
yes.
just like with the other thing, that really requires people to be on fire, and a lot of them, and none of them chickening out and going, against odds. They're not that kind of people.
Right. Well, you notice all over
They like to
DC.
jump on people when they're not aware, so they've got a big advantage.
Well, even in Washington, D.C., they've been putting up fences everywhere to protect these buildings and
Around the Capitol and
yeah, even the McPherson building in the nice posh neighborhood right off of Boulevard there. Why? So every windows have been boarded up and all these strong iron gates surrounding the entire building. What for? And, we're hearing words that National Guard members have been, put on call for the possibility of being called up. Yeah, we know. But it's just very interesting what can happen. And one thing comes to mind too as well is, we've been hearing about Iran wanting to attack Israel very soon. What if it happened tomorrow? What if it happened tomorrow?
happened in our country tomorrow.
Possibility. I mean, we got enough people in here that are men that are fighting age men from all over the Middle East. They are here. I've seen them. They're here. So I wonder what could happen tomorrow is something. It would not surprise me because, as I've said before, they have everything to lose. Everything means all. Everything. But if Trump wins again, he needs to get all the way to January 20th. But back up, they have everything to lose, which means everyone involved will be found out. Period. From your mailroom clerk, your janitor, all the way up to corporate CEOs of big trillion-dollar companies. Yeah, everything in between will be exposed. That's what they're afraid of. And I can see it happening. I would hope it happens because we need to get back to be strong and a happy country, happy people, and do it right. None of this crap that's just out there that is just destroying us.
Right.
The insane asylum are the ones in control. Come on. Enough is enough. The grown-ups need to take over So I'm hoping and praying that all Americans will get out there and do the right thing and vote, especially the Republicans and independents that have had enough, and just get your butt out there. Starting, some places open up at 7, some at 8. Get out there and vote. Even if it's like 4 in the afternoon, it closes the day. Oh man, I'm tired. I worked all day. It looks like he's going to. No, get out there and vote. Out here in California, went to San Francisco again. Nothing but Trump people, Trump signs, flags lined up and down the Embarcadero, just waving. LA, same thing. Sacramento, same thing. The neighborhoods, you don't see a bumper sticker on a car. You don't see yard signs. The ones that do, they get taken down because they get bombasted by all the neighbors in the neighborhood throwing Trump flags and signs up, and they take it down. But they're far and few between. You don't see them. And the feel out here is we've had enough. We're not going to vote for her. Well, you're going to vote for Trump? No, I don't think so, but I'm just not going to vote. That's a lot of people. They're just tired. But a lot of people are saying, I'm not voting for Kamala. You're voting for Trump? Yeah, he's got my vote. How come? You're a Democrat. You've been voting all the time. Yeah, I know, but I got to feed my family, and I got to put gas in the car to go to work. I got to go get another part-time job just to pay for the gas. And that takes my time away from myself, my family. And now with the tax increases and what Kamala said, that she's going to raise taxes, we can't afford it. It's going to break us. We're going to be homeless. So yeah, I got to swallow the pill, and I got to put Trump in. At least we were better off 4 years ago. Yes.
What about Steve Garvey versus Adam Schiff?
It's tight. This is California, as you know. They can count ballots for weeks after the election, and that's what scares me. However, the sentiment out here, if it holds true, Steve Garvey stands a good chance of being the first Republican in a long time to go to Washington, D.C. as a senator for 6 years. Really does. And I'm hoping that that happens. I just thank God that Trump came out here one time, because that's all it took, at least, to let people know, hey, I care about you. And that was smart, because it was Adam Schiff, and he doesn't like Adam Schiff. And he had to do something at least for that, because there's that slim possibility that Steve Garvey can certainly do it. He might be able to take the remaining 3 months out of there and be a senator. And then Adam Schiff comes in on January 5th and take over. There's that possibility too. But if Steve Garvey takes it all, then he's in. So that would be a good thing, a very, very good thing.
Okay, well, let's get together tomorrow at some point. Right now, I've been up since 1:30. I haven't taken a nap.
Okay.
So I'm getting a little spaced out here.
All right. Well, we could definitely touch base. I'll be here at Grand Central watching everything and keep an eye on it, and hoping and praying for that thing happens. And I'm going to watch a couple of Trump's last hoo-haws. And one thing, Kamala, at her event centers that she goes, anywhere between 1,500 and 3,000 people, depending on which one she has, the bussed-in ones, by the way, fills it up. Trump has the stadiums overflowed. J.D. Vance is on his own today in Pittsburgh.
With a full stadium.
With a full stadium with people outside still. My goodness. If that...
Well, the Kamala event that they showed on TV today, she couldn't have had over 250, 300 people. It was just like a large, a medium-sized event room in a hotel.
Yeah, like a high school gym. They need the sound to echo, but you can tell that echo sound of a high school basketball game, right? So,
and she was trying to lead a cheer to rev them up, because
I saw that.
The cameras were on, and they were just kind of going, yeah, I'll follow along a little bit. I think we're going to see evidence of a big blowout from very early on in the count.
Yeah. Well, I'm one of those skeptic ones, Bill. I see it when I believe it, but I do see the numbers and I know math and the way things are going right now, especially with the independents, it'll be a blowout. He'll get over 300. If I were to predict a number, it would be between 312 and 320, 322, something like that. But he'll break over 300 for sure. And I am praying that that happens. I'm hoping that results happen real quick and that he secures that and it goes from there. So with that said, I'll let you have a good night and thank you viewers for you. And I thank you viewers for watching you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Bill for me, please. Do that.
Because Bill is too stupid to say it himself. I have to
Yeah.
write it down.
All right. We'll talk
All right.
later, Bill.
See ya.
Good seeing you, sir.
Hey!
I recently came upon a photo that I saw, and I sent you a copy of it, about a little dot in the middle of Kamala Harris's checkbox. So if nobody voted for anybody, Kamala would get the vote. If somebody voted for Trump, it invalidates it. Nobody gets the vote. Just saying. So if those machines are clever enough to pick up that dot as a mark, then either she gets the vote, or if somebody voted for Trump, nobody gets that vote. So they voted, but it doesn't count.